Eagles-Bucs game looked like a blowout early, but it ended up being a game.
I can't really make much sense of this Philadelphia Eagles team because, they got one of the best wide receivers in football in A.J. Brown, and 3 of the first 4 weeks of the season, they haven't even thrown him the ball yet. They're still winning. They're still 4-0. They came out of the gates roaring, went up quick, double digits against the Bucs right away, and then the Bucs ultimately turned this thing around and make it a competitive game. Um, the more I watch Baker Mayfield, Richard, the more I love the guy. I would love for him to be a quarterback of any team I root for. He's just such a gamer. Seeing him scramble out of the pocket and third and long, fourth downs, and getting the first downs, and they really made this game more competitive than the score might have suggested. But let's talk about this Eagles team because, as they continue to win, to me, I just don't think they're the best team in the NFC. And I know they're number one on your power ranks, but I'm just not sold on it yet. How did they change their identity a little bit here? Because I know they got up so early, but statistically speaking, they got to start getting A.J. Brown and the receivers more involved in these games.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it statistically, their superstars on offense didn't have superstar kind of days outside of Jalen Hurts, and even he was 15 for 24 for 130 yards and 2 touchdowns. But again, managing the game and doing what is necessary to win these ball games is all that matters. Statistics don't really matter in this respect, and I think that's the way the Philadelphia Eagles are playing these games. They're not worried about putting up gaudy statistics. They targeted A.J. Brown 9 times in this game. He only had 2 catches for 7 yards. So it wasn't for a lack of them trying to get him the football, but I'm sure Todd Bowles understands who A.J. Brown is, and they've had some success against Jalen Hurts. And I think Jalen Hurts might have taken that personally in this game, and you could see um, he made a lot of big plays with his legs. They held Saquon Barkley in check, 19 carries for 43 yards, 2.3 a carry. They did what they could against Saquon Barkley, um, but they found Dallas Goedert for 2 touchdowns. And so again, no matter who you stop one guy, the next guy wins. You stop Saquon, then Jalen Hurts is gonna do it with his legs. You stop Jalen Hurts, then Saquon Barkley's doing them out the backfield catching the football. Devontae Smith will catch the football. He only had 2 catches in his game on 4 targets, but um, I really liked what I saw of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think they're a better team than people gave them credit to start this season. I think they obviously have won the NFC South 4 years in a row, and I think they got a good chance to win it this year. I really like the way Baker Mayfield's playing. I think he's playing at a top 5 quarterback level in the National Football League to be able to do this without Mike Evans. Um, they haven't been able to win a lot of games when Mike Evans is not in the lineup for obvious reasons. He's an incredible all all world Hall of Fame talent. That's a reason he's had so many yards. But the way Baker was moving around and finding guys using his legs, hitting the open guy, he hit Emeka Abuka on a 77-yard touchdown off a scramble. Found him, threaded the needle between 2 defenders. It looked like a busted coverage. Then he found Bucky Irving on another 70-yard touchdown. Bucky Irving ended up being the leading receiver with 100 yards receiving, and Emeka had 100 yards receiving. So again, this Philadelphia Eagles secondary can be had. And I think that's something different than it was a year ago. That's a vulnerability that wasn't as much last year. I thought they were one of the best secondaries in the National Football League. But when you lose big play Slay and you lose, C.J. Gardner Johnson got cut from the Houston Texans, but he fit very well in this system. He did well. He played well. And sometimes when you lose veterans like that, it changes the dynamic. And there's been more mistakes in that secondary. But Cooper DeJean looked really good. They were trying him up at the outside corner today. He had some really, really good coverage reps against Emeka Abuka, where he just played it square shoulders, great footwork, breaking on passes. I thought he looked in control. He looked dominant. Um, and I thought Quinyon Mitchell looked the same. I thought he looked great in his. I think there was some next gen stat about tight window throws, and he had the most tight window. He forced the most tight window throws today, one of the highest in the National Football League in a long time. So you have the guys, they have talented players, but people are finding the others. People are finding the others to attack in this defense. They're not going at the strengths of the defense. But again, when you have Jalen Carter and guys like that, you're not just going to run the football on them. all day, and you're not going to have a ton of success on the ground. But I think it might have just been the weather. We knew that the weather in Tampa is super hot and that it will get to them eventually. And I think after a while, it gets to everybody and it started to weigh on them. And guys, just natural fatigue. And you start to see Baker have a little bit more time. But I still feel like the best team in the National Football League right now is the Philadelphia Eagles. And until they lose, it's hard to say otherwise. Bills are 4-0 now. I'm not sure. Are they head and shoulders above every other team in the AFC? I'm not sure. But Josh Allen gives them that advantage. Like, without Josh Allen, no, they're not. But they have Josh Allen, and he's the MVP, reigning MVP of the National Football League. And so he's getting them over the top. This game against the Saints was closer than it probably needed to be. But again, Josh Allen decided, I don't want it to be that close anymore. And he took over the game, made huge plays, showed that he's the difference. He's the gap between the next teams in the AFC. And not that he's uh, a greater quarterback than everybody else, but his team and what he needs to do, he's playing outstanding football and he's putting them over the top. And I don't think there's a team in the AFC better than them. I'm not sure. Um, they won't go undefeated because no team goes undefeated, but they're going to be a tough team to beat consistently, especially when they're playing in Buffalo. But yeah, I think they're the best team in the AFC. I'm not sure if they're head and shoulders, and I don't think they're better than Philadelphia Eagles. If you put a gun to my head today and ask me, I think the Philadelphia Eagles are the better team, and which is why they are 1-2 in my power rankings.
There you go. Wow, we can get to 3, 4, and 5 later because I know we got some other guys yet to play here, specifically the Green Bay Packers, who are on the cusp of your top 5. I know. Before we leave this, Richard, the quote of the day comes from Cam Ward of the Tennessee Titans. He was asked about what they thought about his team, and he said, if we keep it a buck right now, we're ass. I mean, do you appreciate this candor for him, or do you think he needs to you think this is out of line?
It's not out of line. It's just honesty from a quarterback, but his team isn't good enough overall. And so, if this was a veteran team, a team like if he was playing for the Minnesota Vikings, and they were a 14-win team last year, and they just aren't playing good, and they've lost a couple games, you can't say it. And the veterans aren't going to allow you to say it. And you're not perfect enough. You don't have the credibility to say it. And so I think that speaks to the point. You got to have the credibility with great play. All pro quarterbacks, all pro players, Super Bowl winners, guys that are established in this league. They can say things like that. If Aaron Rodgers came out and said, "Hey, we played like ass today. We played like crap. We got to be better than that." It's Aaron Rodgers, 4-time MVP, Super Bowl champion. You're not going to be able to say much to him. If Tom Brady comes out and says it, if Matthew Stafford comes out and says it, again, they have credibility. When you're a rookie quarterback, although you were the first pick in the draft, uh, I don't think you can get away with saying that without ruffling feathers in your locker room because they're a veteran guy. Sure, it's not going your way right now. You've lost 3 games. You've played the Rams, the Broncos, um, and you just lost to the Colts, a division loss, and then you lose this game. So sure, you could say, "Hey, we're not playing very well right now," but saying it that way, it encapsulates the whole team, and that's the mistake. As a quarterback, you have to say, "I'm not playing good enough right now," and it sucks because even if you feel like you are playing good enough, that's the responsibility the quarterback has. That's leadership. That's all the things you talk about from great quarterbacks. You say, "Hey, this is on me. I got to play better. There's some things I can do to put my teammates in better positions to win the football game. I'm going to go back to the drawing board, study the tape, and see what we can do better." But this is a frustrating feeling right now to not play up to the standard that we know we're capable of. But we'll get back to it next week. We'll flush this one and get back to the drawing board. That's all you got to say. That's all you got to say. You can't say that because you're the leader of the team and you're the voice of the team. And when you say that, you piss other guys off who like, I'm playing well, I'm playing hard, I'm doing my job. And if you did your job, then then you start to get the finger pointing and it starts to tear locker room apart, Mitchell. So you can't be careful with that, young Cam.
Well, Richard, that concludes Week 4's Sunday night recap. I will let you sign us off, my friend.
As always, it's been a nice week. I'm sorry for the San Francisco 49ers faithful fans. It was a rough one. It was a rough one. They got to play better than that, and they will play better than that. I can't wait to see you guys on Thursday night. I will be there in LA for Thursday night football. Check us out, TNF tonight, starting 4 p.m. Pacific until the game starts at 5:15 Pacific time. It's going to be a fantastic division game. I can't wait to see you there. For all you other fans, congratulations on your team's winning, or keep hope alive if your team lost today. It ain't over yet. It's a long season, and you never know what can happen. This is the NFL. As always, we appreciate you joining us. You could be anywhere in the world, but you're here with us, and we sure do appreciate it. All love.